I've been studying foreign languages for several years now and have a few observations to make. The first thing I would tell people who are interested in either becoming bilingual or perhaps adding additional languages and maybe aiming for that lofty goal of being a polyglot, a speaker of many languages, is that the initial battle is in the mind. You have to understand that this is an attainable thing, either being bilingual or picking up other languages. And once you get past that hurdle, once you win the psychological battle with yourself, then comes the work. My philosophy is that anybody can become bilingual or trilingual or quadrilingual, depending on how much work you're willing to put in. And surprisingly, the work doesn't have to be sacrifice. You can fill up unused times when you're in the car, standing in line, doing other things that might, or find yourself in other situations where you may just fritter away the time. My suggestion is that the car is probably the best place to practice. If you have a CD player in the car, that daily commute to and from work might be all the time that you need to spend every day to develop fluency and surprise yourself within just perhaps a year or a little bit more than that. It would depend on you as an individual. The choice of materials is important too. Some materials are poorly conceived and others are off the scale in terms of their excellence. Pimsleur is a wonderful way to start. The Pimsleur CDs do not teach you an enormous amount of the language. You might end up, after having gone through the Pimsleur course with a vocabulary perhaps 1,600, 1,700 words, but you will learn those words thoroughly. You will know them backwards and forwards. You'll know them in your sleep. And you will convince yourself that you really can learn to speak and understand a language. That's the great gift of Pimsleur. Pimsleur, unfortunately, while very affordable for their introductory CDs, the price gets a little steeper with their intermediate and advanced CDs. But if you're serious about this, I highly recommend Pimsleur. Another good one is Learn in Your Car. Learn in Your Car will build your vocabulary because it will challenge you to generate language just like Pimsleur does. If you go through all the CDs and Learn in Your Car, you could have a vocabulary of several thousand words, and that's all it really takes to be conversational. For listening practice, I happen to like both Living Language and the Teach Yourself series. I listen to dialogues in the car until I virtually memorize them, because it does take quite a bit of practice to train your ear to understand. Now, different people have different approaches to language. For me, it's always been relatively easy to learn to speak a language. That's usually the first skill I pick up. Comprehension, however, has traditionally been the hardest thing for me. Right now, my comprehension is probably strong only in one language other than English, which would be German, because I lived over there for a year and also worked over there and studied over there. With French and Spanish, I'd say that I'm at an intermediate level in that I can express myself. In French, je peux m'exprimer en français sans beaucoup de difficulté. I just said I can express myself in French without a lot of difficulty. I can usually say what I want in French, but my comprehension is weak because I've never lived over there, nor have I had a lot of listening to it. And the same thing goes for Spanish. Tengo el mismo problema en español. I have the same problem in Spanish. But my recommendation is find the time that you would waste anyway and utilize it, and then those sacrifices made. Pick the right materials. Pimsleur, Learn in Your Car, Living Language, Teach Yourself. These are excellent course materials. Believe that you can do it, which is everything starts with that, and then work up a desire. You have to want to do it badly. It has to become fun. You have to look forward to it. If you don't, you won't put the time in. And then it will be just another thing that you pick up, toy with for a little while, and then set aside. So this little homily, I hope, will encourage some of you who have particularly those of you who have a talent for it, and even those of you who don't particularly have a talent for it, to understand that this is something that's attainable really by any person who is willing to work and who has the desire to do it. So good luck, bonne chance, and ich wünsche euch Vielen Glück.